Right, and at the moment with us, also to talk about a subject which is somewhat serious. Why do we always have very serious subjects for these? क्या है? We should have.
The ecology of India, Maharashtra, Mumbai.
And our old friend, Mr. B.N. Kumar.
And whenever we look out of our windows,
BNK.
The Mithi River reminds us the job has to be done.
What is the job that still remains to be done?
Yes.
Which has not even begun, so to speak. Mr. B.N.K.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you, sir? सर हर बार आप बड़ा सीरियस सब्जेक्ट लेकर के आते हो, कभी अच्छा सब्जेक्ट भी लाया करो ना सर। ये क्या है? अब उत्तराखंड में बीएन के साथ 41 वर्कर अंडर ट्रैप्ड हैं अंदर। इनफैक्ट आई गॉट योर मैसेज इन द मॉर्निंग एंड यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट। All the mainstream corporate channels are just quiet about it. We have been asking the question every day. What is happening? कोई बात ही नहीं कर रहा है यार। सर आपको याद होगा बीएन के साथ एक सेकंड वो कोई बच्चा कुछ गिर गया था कुछ बोरवेल में कहीं पर। अरे सबने मतलब अपनी सारी ओबीज वहां पे भेज दी, पता नहीं क्या कुछ किया। 36 घंटे we were just on that. Here nobody is bothered. Not even a 1-minute story. बीएन कुमार साहब बताइए।
सर आपको सबको व्यूअर्स को भी याद रहेगा, प्रिंस नाम का लड़का था
जी, याद है
था
जी, याद है।
जुलाई 2006 में वो हरदेरपुर करके गांव में कुरुक्षेत्र जिला हरियाणा में वहां पर में
जी
वो चूहे के पीछे भाग रहा था, अचानक उसमें गिर पड़ा और उसमें 50 घंटे का जो ऑपरेशन चला उनको रेस्क्यू करने के लिए। फॉर्चुनेटली देयर बॉय वाज रेस्क्यूड, ही वेंट डाउन 60 फीट इन द बोरवेल। लकीली उसके साथ में लड़का था, उसने आवाज चिल्लाई तो लोगों ने इधर उधर से आके देखा, फिर बचा रहा अंदर था तो आर्मी ने आके उसके बचाया। और मजे की बात है कि 2006 की बात है ये, इट्स नॉट 2014, रिमेंबर दोस इयर्स। सो दैट इज व्हाई देयर वाज दिस मीडिया really focusing on that. But today my fear is, my hunch is, if media goes there to cover, they will have to ask questions, they will have to ask uncomfortable questions. तो एक सवाल तो ऑलरेडी उन्होंने नितिन गडकरी को पूछा था एक मीडिया ने कि आपने इसमें एस्केप टनल नहीं बनाया
जी,
तो वो उसको he had no answer and he was trying to consult somebody from one of the officers from behind. उसमें एस्केप टनल क्यों नहीं बना पाए वो उसको जवाब नहीं निकला। लेकिन इवन व्हेन दिस रेस्क्यू वर्क इज गोइंग ऑन राइट नाउ, एक सवाल पूछा गया था, आप लोग ड्रिल करके अंदर क्यों नहीं जा रहे हो? NHA said we can't drill because the moment we drill, more soil will cave in, more rubble will cave in, more क्या नाम है boulders etc. That will cave in, that will spoil the show, that will hamper the rescue operations.
So why do you think the media is not covering it?
वही ना, मीडिया अगर आएगी सवाल पूछना पड़ेगा। आज के तारीख में कौन सी मेजर मीडिया सवाल कर रहे हैं सर आपके और हमारे इस को छोड़कर? Nobody asks questions because there are no answers. There is nobody to answer. Probably there are orders from above ki, or without the order also, sometimes you have this more loyal than the king the attitude.
That's right.
आपने हम लोगों ने emergency में experience किया था आरकेबी।
But BNK, I don't think the government would be so strongly opposed to anybody covering this. I mean, I'm reasonably certain even the Uttarakhand government would like to show all that they are doing to try and rescue these people. I agree. There may have been a tunnel fault and so on. And by the way, I don't know whether you know this, both Pradeep ji and I have been working on this now since 2009 as to how Uttarakhand, they have been trying to transform it into Urjakhand.
Yes.
And there are tunnels all over the hills. All the hills, by the way, now have tunnels. And those hills can collapse any time. We are looking at an ecological disaster of catastrophic proportions.
Yes.
Just like you mentioned, in fact, in your message also you mentioned कि वो जो हिमाचल प्रदेश में अभी जो बाढ़ आई थी, you have destroyed the entire hill. You have made 5-star hotels. You have made 10-story and 15-story hotels on hills which can hardly support 1 or 2-story houses. So what is going on over here, BNK साहब? Hill development नाम की कोई चीज नहीं है क्या?
Or hill touching the rivers.
Yes.
Rivers are flowing out there.
Yeah.
So there is no such thing as mountain and hill development.
एक्चुअली मैं भी फैमिली के साथ में चारधाम यात्रा में गया था इन द प्लेस एंड चारधाम वो एक आस्था की बात है कि वहां पर जाएं, वहां पर मथा टेक कर आए, यमुनोत्री, गंगोत्री, केदारनाथ, बद्रीनाथ, लेकिन वो एक कठिनाई उठाकर कष्ट लेकर जाना एक बात अलग है. नाउ यू नो व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट ट्राइंग टू डू is sadly, very sadly trying to convert them into picnic spots. 1000 किलोमीटर का रास्ता बना रहे हो, वाइड हाईवे, through the tunnels, with the tunnels, through the hills etc. soil loose है, वहाँ पर गेंदे नाक पे चीजें नहीं, सारे पेड़ काट दिए आप लोगों ने, वहाँ पर टनल बना रहे हो, soil loose है, गिर रहा है, बाढ़ आ रही है, डैम वहाँ पर बहती जा रही है, तो you trying to convert that into picnic spot. I mean that is not the way a religious place should be treated, you know. ठीक है, जिसको जाना है वहां जाएगा, लेकिन ये इतना सारा 6 लेन का 4 लेन का हाईवे बनाओ, वहां पर गाड़ियां भगाओ, 6 घंटे में दिल्ली से वहां पहुंच जाओ. आई मीन इट इज ridiculous. You're downgrading the status, the level of the religious.
In fact, the latest report says that the charcoal content and the carbon content in the Gangotri glacier has gone up to dangerous levels because of the helicopter services.
Yes.
So what are these guys doing? Don't they know that's the origin of the Ganga? You're going to destroy the Ganga at the origin.
Correct.
So
in fact, when we went to Gangotri, we were trying to take a dip there. जैसे हमने डुबकी लगाई, ऊपर ही खड़ा हुआ, पूरा सर के ऊपर मिट्टी थी. There is construction, there is digging, there is sand dredging going on in that area. पूरा का पूरा पानी brown था. It was so horrible. Why have we come here?
At the Gangotri.
And sad. Luckily, down towards Haridwar and Rishikesh, particularly Haridwar, it's pretty clean because they have diverted all the shore water from entering the city during the 86 कुंभ के टाइम पे, जो हमने वहां पर जाके कवर करी थी. That time they started the Ganga cleanup operation. So Haridwar is fairly clean, but otherwise, even at the source point, it's bad. It's still.
That is not only Ganga, but all the holy rivers, all across the nation. Wherever you talk about holy dip, whether it's river Pamba in Kerala or you're talking about your rivers where you've been in the north, everywhere they don't see, the government has failed to keep the pure sanctity of the holy rivers.
Our own Narmada.
Yes, you got the sewage in, you got all kinds of people throwing all kinds of things, waste into the rivers, holy rivers, and see, there has to be a national consensus and a strong leadership to see that the rivers are pure and holy, that they talk about, or we find them in the Puranas. Don't you think the government has a big responsibility? B.N. Kumarji.
Government has a terrible responsibility. I mean, quite a bit of responsibility. Other than the government, accountability and responsibility should flow down the line. हम जाके COP26 वगैरह में 24 में बड़ी बड़ी बातें करके आते हैं, कार्बन लेवल डाउन करेंगे, ये करेंगे, डिपेंडेंसी ऑन फॉसिल फ्यूल्स कम कर देंगे. यहाँ पर आने के बाद में बोलते हैं कोल प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाओ, और दैट इज वन. नंबर 2, जो भी एनवायरनमेंट का इंचार्ज है, दैट गाय शुड बी मेड अकाउंटेबल. आज के तारीख में समझो, आई एम द प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी एनवायरनमेंट. टुमारो आई एम ट्रांसफर्ड टू सिडको एज ए मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर. सो व्हेन आई गो टू सिडको, शुड आई नॉट बी कैरिंग that luggage, that good luggage in fact, of the knowledge that I gained as environment officer? But Sidco क्या कर रही है? Sidco is the biggest culprit, biggest contributor to environment destruction in the so-called planned city. So it is Pradeep, it is not only the government's responsibility, like they've done in the Swachhata Abhiyan. The responsibility should flow from top to bottom, not bottom to top. It should be top to bottom flow. Everybody, including the elected representatives, should be made responsible. आज आप कहते हैं इंदौर बहुत clean है, क्यों? Even the corporator of the particular ward in that area, he is held responsible. वहाँ कुछ कचरा दिखा, he will be punished, he will be pulled up. So that kind of responsibility sharing should be there in environment. And as I discussed last time, environment should be made an election issue. It should be part of the manifestos. I didn't complete the subject that time. It should be part of the manifesto. We should insist on that.
Implementation. Now we talk about the tunnel collapse. We got the people who have been trapped in the tunnel. Now we have got great infrastructural projects going on around Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Thane. Mumbai Metro, 14 rails, Navi Mumbai International Airport, Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, Sea Link, Bullet Train, Airoli Katai Tunnel Road, Goregaon Mulund Coastal Road. Now who is looking after the safety aspects here? Now after this particular incident that has happened, and we are very much worried about the people who are trapped underneath. Now, as environmentalists, have you taken up this safety issues where these kind of huge projects going in and around Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai, infra projects? B.N. Kumarji.
Yeah, we have been taking it up at various levels. In fact, I'm in regular touch with the Prime Minister's office, keep writing to him. And for whatever I write to him, he religiously on-passes them to Ministry of Environment. In fact, as far as the hills is concerned, आपको याद होगा इरशादवाड़ी जो अपना मुंबई के नजदीक हमारे नई मुंबई के नजदीक खोपोली के पास जहाँ पर लैंडस्लाइड हुई थी ड्यूरिंग द मानसून वहाँ पर काफी लोग मर गए थे almost entire village got washed away but for 23 families out of 90 families more than 50-60 families have been washed away. तो उस टाइम ही हमने एक सजेशन करी दी थी प्राइम मिनिस्टर को कि देयर इज नो हिल डेवलपमेंट रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी. आपका कोस्टल मैनेजमेंट कोस्टल जोन के लिए देयर इज एमसी CZMS कोस्टल जोन मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी से एट एवरी स्टेट लेवल. एज फार एज हिल्स आर कंसर्न उसका माय बाप कोई नहीं है. कोई भी जाके हिल पे कोई भी कुछ भी कर सकता है. वंस इन अ व्हाइल एनवायरनमेंट कम्स इन. अगर झाड़ वगैरह होगा पेड़ वगैरह होगा तो आपका फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट आगे बोलते हैं यहाँ पर पेड़ मत काटो. मैं पेड़ छोड़ के बाजू में ये करता हूँ या तो फॉरेस्ट वाले को खिला पिला के अपना काम कर लेता हूँ. इसीलिए there is a requirement of a what you call a regulatory authority. So that suggestion was forwarded to the Ministry of Environment. अभी मैंने एक RTA petition डाल के follow up किया था उसके ऊपर कि आप लोगों ने क्या किया. Do you have a environment regulatory, I mean hill development regulatory authority or hill development regulatory mechanism? Unfortunately, reply आया था as expected. They don't have any such measure.
They don't have. There is none.
That is very sad part.
And by the way, I remember this, BNK, I don't know whether you remember this. No, hang on a minute. You remember this because you talked about the 1986 floods. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister. And Rajiv Gandhi, if I remember correctly, was at that time in what was called Uttaranchal, now of course it is Uttarakhand. He had said, he himself had said, I still remember that speech, कि जो प्लेन्स की डेवलपमेंट है वही ला करके हम लोग हिल्स के ऊपर डाल देते हैं. हिल की डेवलपमेंट बिल्कुल अलग होनी चाहिए. एंड ही हिमसेल्फ हैड सजेस्टेड दैट वे बैक इन 1986-87. बट वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेटली, एंड आई एम आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट at that particular time. I mean, it's almost what, 36 years ago.
Yeah.
And nothing has happened. Nothing has happened so far. Every disaster, we wake up, we say, hey, we must do something, and as soon as the disaster is over, we go back to whatever it is we were doing. BNK sir.
आप देखें केरला, we are such a huge disaster.
Yes, we did.
लेकिन बोल रहे थे केरला के बाद में it can be any other place. बाद में कर्नाटक में कूर्ग में हुआ. अभी now गोवा is sitting on a bomb. अपना रत्नागिरी क्या नाम है कोंकण में तो होते रहते इस टाइप की ट्रेजेडीज. Entire Konkan stretch is full of this because of mining, unplanned development, uncontrolled, unchecked quarrying. With the quarry क्या होता है आप समझो एक हिल के एक पार्से हिल के ऊपर आप क्वारी करोगे आजू बाजू के एरिया भी पूरा लूज हो जाता है ना because of the blasting.
That's right. Correct.
That these people, our friends, don't realize, or even if they realize, probably they keep quiet. अभी ये हिल्स के ऊपर this kind of a tunnel that they made, it wouldn't have happened because of the blasting. वो ब्लास्टिंग की वजह से सारा के सारा सॉइल लूज हो गया. एक अभी कल को अगर ज्यादा बारिश होगी वो पहाड़ बह जाएगा सर जी नीचे से.
That's what an expert from the US has warned, by the way. An expert from the US has warned that might happen, that there might be an avalanche in and around the tunnel.
Yes.
That if you indulge in major digging over there, that might destroy the entire thing.
So now what we are planning is, what we are planning now is probably next week, within a week or so, I'm talking to my lawyers. We'll be moving the NGT to impress upon the government to set up a hill development regulatory authority. Because even if you go to court will say आप existing mechanism पहले खत्म करो फिर हमारे पास आ जाओ. So इसलिए to save time, to save even the court's time, we'll go to NGT first, and my lawyers are working on it.
Right.
Probably next week we will work on it. And now that the Environment Ministry has confirmed to me in writing that they don't have the mechanism that puts them in a strong legal position to argue it out for such a mechanism. So let us see how it goes.
But what Pradeepji mentioned just now with regard to Pamba River and Kerala, you also mentioned Kerala just now. Now, if you remember, This was during Mrs. Indira Gandhi's time, where Mrs. Indira Gandhi was absolutely against any sort of development in the Silent Valley, if you remember, in Kerala. And then after that, they were able to pass legislation. I think this happened after Rajiv Gandhi, during Narasimha Rao's government. They were actually able to pass legislation where you could actually build in and around the Silent Valley. And you know the disaster which took place after that. To your knowledge, has anything been done after the massive floods which took place in Kerala? That such a thing should not happen again? BNK sir?
Unlikely, because we don't wake up unless in fact we have a case of violation of CRZ rules in Kochi. The Supreme Court had to come down very heavily and demolish 2-3 buildings there. Though the investors, people like you and me who bought flats there, they lost heavily. But the compensation that was paid to them was minuscule as compared to the investment that they made. But from the government point of view, the politicians are busy fighting politics. आज खत्म हो गया, कल इलेक्शन होगा. इनफैक्ट आज के तारीख में इंडिया आप देखोगे, एक जमाने में इंडिया यूज्ड टू बी कॉल्ड द कंट्री ऑफ फेस्टिवल्स. आज के तारीख में वी आर अ नेशन ऑफ इलेक्शंस. हर महीना, हर वर्ष में
दैट्स आवर फेस्टिवल.
कहीं ना कहीं इलेक्शन, कुछ ना कुछ इलेक्शन होते रहता है. एंड ऑल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, वेदर इट इज बीजेपी, कांग्रेस और एनीबॉडी एल्स, दे हैव टेकन इट एज अ मेजर इश्यू. अभी आपको देखिए ना, म्युनिसिपल इलेक्शंस हो रहे थे राजस्थान में, यूपी में. Prime Minister goes there in campaigns.
And the Prime Minister is always also talking about one nation, one election. I think that is a better thing.
Yeah, one nation, one election.
It will save.
In fact, people were saying, one planet. We have one planet, one life. I'm saying one planet, one life. They didn't say one life. They say one planet. So I said one planet, one city, and one life.
So, the hills of Thane, your hills, are full of construction. Full of construction. We are talking about, hills occupied in Uttarakhand and elsewhere. Mumbai, all the hills, you call Ghatkopar, is filled with houses, and the BMC has spent another 1,000 crores on creating roads, creating toilets, creating safety walls. Your hills in Thane also full of construction. Now the government seems to have a deaf ear to environmentalists pointing out the hazards that come along with it. We have not been able to do much. Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai, the hills, nothing has been done, and the growth of population is increasing continuously there, which was just small houses have become ground plus 2 in most of those places. Population increase in the hillsides. Now, how are we going to tackle this problem? Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai. Illegal settlements of the hills.
यही ना कि the person, the administrator there, he should be held accountable and responsible for it. It is collector's area. The hills are supposed to be collector's area, revenue area. The collector, if suppose there is a quarrying taking place, collector gets what you call a royalty out of it. So administratively, he controls them. So it is his responsibility to make sure that these kind of things do not take place. Unfortunately, under political pressure, everything is ignored. आपको याद होगा येऊर हिल्स में जब कंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहा था, I think it was Chandrasekhar who was collector at that time. He tried to stop it, and within 2.5 years he was transferred. And the local people, the auto rickshaw people, they held morcha. They conducted morchas asking for reinstating their collector. Bal Thackeray intervened and reinstated it. But after that, what happened? After nothing is happening. It is not only the question of hills of Thane. आप येऊर हिल्स का इस साइड टुवर्ड्स मुंबई साइड मुलुंड हो गया, घाटकोपर, ये साइड भी देखिए, और नवी मुंबई का भी देखिए. हिल्स आर अंडर अटैक. अभी सिरको, I think we discussed this last time, they are planning a huge township on the Kharghar hills on the plateau. Disastrous.
Official.
That's it then. So what are you looking at? BNK, what are you looking at?
एक जोक सुनिएगा, एक प्रैक्टिकल जोक है ये. BNHS, Bombay Natural History Society, has worked out a plan for a ecological park on the biodiversity park on the hills. Or Sirco, while advertising for the township on Kharghar, says It is in walking distance from the biodiversity park. I mean,
wow.
how can you have a township touching the? It beats common sense. सर पटकने को दिल होता है इनके ऊपर.
No, what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, people have to realize what we are working towards. अब ये 2009 की बात है साहब, जब हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे कहा था कि उत्तराखंड को जो आप ऊर्जा खंड बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, you are trying to create more and more power over there, and you will generate power through, funneling the water of the Ganga through all these tunnels and all that. It is going to be an ecological disaster for Uttarakhand, and that's exactly what has happened. It's right there in front of you. When we talked about how Gangotri will one day be so polluted that the Ganga itself will die, I am saying so again. What we are doing over there on the Gangotri and on the course of the river, of the holiest river of India, we are killing the river. We are killing our mother. We call the Ganga mother. We are killing her. अपनी माँ को मार रहे हैं हम लोग. सीधी सादी बात है. आपने बड़ी कोशिश करी है, साफ किया है, साफ सफाई करी है, न जाने क्या कुछ किया है, लेकिन जैसे आपने कहा बीएन के साहब, साफ सफाई सोर्स से होती है, बीच में नहीं होती है. You have to start from the source of the river, just like what they are doing over here to the मिठी रिवर. यहाँ पर मिठी रिवर में बीच में आप ड्रेजिंग कर देते हैं. अरे जहां से वो रिवर आ रहा है, जहां पर इतने ज्यादा ऑयल मिक्सिंग के पता नहीं क्या क्या है सारी, और अनट्रीटेड सुवेज हर उसके अंदर घुस रही है मिठी रिवर के अंदर. What can you do? So these guys don't realize what they are doing or what? We know the answer to that. I mean, or do they see an opportunity in every disaster that they create? बीएन के साथ.
To me, that seems to be the attitude कि ठीक है जो होता देखा जाएगा. अभी आप देखिए ना, I'll give you another small example. We are constructing this Navi Mumbai airport, which Pradeep mentioned. Huge infrastructure project coming up.
Yes.
Infrastructure होना चाहिए airport की. We require a alternative airport for Mumbai. Mumbai is bursting it seems. जरूरी है. लेकिन करते करते आपको एनवायरनमेंट के ऊपर भी ध्यान देनी चाहिए. सो टू ऑब्टेन एनवायरनमेंट क्लियरेंस हम लोगों ने एक एयरपोर्ट वालों ने के एनवायरनमेंट इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट करवाई, सेकंड असेसमेंट. उसमें दे क्लियरली मेंशन कि देयर आर द वेटलैंड्स व्हिच आर अराउंड दिस एयरपोर्ट एरिया, दे हैव टू बी मेंटेन्ड एज पर बीएनएचएस बिकॉज द बर्ड्स व्हिच कम दे लैंड देयर, दे टेक रेस्ट, एंड दीस 5 वेटलैंड्स आर सपोज्ड टू बी द सैटेलाइट वेटलैंड्स ऑफ द रामसर प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ क्या नाम है आपका, ठाणे क्रीक फ्लेमिंगो सैंक्चुरी का ये सैटेलाइट वेटलैंड्स है. यहाँ पर 15 सेंटीमीटर से ऊपर से पानी चला जाता है. दिस बर्ड्स गो एंड रेस्ट देयर. अगर ये वेटलैंड आप खत्म कर दोगे, बर्ड्स विल गो स्ट्रेट अवे लैंड एट द एयरपोर्ट एरिया बिकॉज़ दैट इज स्लाइटली हाई ग्राउंड. थोड़ा दलदली एरिया है, थोड़ा हाई ग्राउंड है, समुद्र को पानी को लग के है वो एरिया. वहां पर लैंड करेंगी, बर्ड्स वहां पर हजारों की संख्या में आएंगी, तो फ्लाइट को टकराने का डर है. इसीलिए आपको जो बर्ड का डेस्टिनेशन है उसको मेंटेन करो, एयरपोर्ट भी रखो. फाइन. एनवायरनमेंट रिपोर्ट में Navi Mumbai International Airport Limited writes very clearly these 5 wetlands will be maintained, and the golf course that is planned on the wetlands of NRA and TH Chanakya is being dropped and not being pursued. That is the commitment that they made to get the environment clearance certificate. In reality, CIRCO is working totally against that. They are going ahead with the golf course project. Luckily, it's pending in the court now, but they got the CRZ clearance for it, and MCZMA gave the certificate without checking the ground reality, whether it's the wetland or not. CIRCO ने certificate दे दिया, आपने बना दे बोल दिया हटी के wetland नहीं है, and CIRCO is not the authority as we discussed last time. Center has very clearly mentioned. So these are the kind of.
So will the same thing happen? Will the same thing happen to the Balaji Tirupati temple, which is now coming up in your area?
That's the biggest threat now. Now, of course, we are fighting it out in the NGT now. Let's see how probably we should be having a hearing very soon. So उसमें एक नया information ऐसे ही निकला पोस्ते. There is a report by JICA. JICA is the financing agency, Japanese international agency है जो they are financing this project. So उनका impact report, environment impact assessment report में clearly लिखा गया है कि this casting yard area on which the Balaji temple is going to coming up is a 7-year lease given to for the casting yard purpose. That means after casting yard is over, that ought to have been restored. वो करने के बजाय सिर्फ उसके अंदर लैंड अलॉट किया, और अभी CZMP कोस्टल जोन मैनेजमेंट प्लान का जो मैप आया है उसमें इट इज ऑफ नथिंग न्यू इन इट. इट इज देयर पार्ट ऑफ द CRZ 2019. उन्होंने 100 मीटर एरिया से 50 मीटर कम कर दिया फ्रॉम द हाइटेड एरिया. दैट मीन द लिमिट फॉर कंस्ट्रक्शन has been reduced from 100 meters to 50 meters. So obviously now we can build it, but that's not valid because the old assessment report that commissioned by TTD and CIRCO itself very clearly says more than one third part of it comes in CRZ1 and something else in CRZ2. Just about 25% is a buildable area. उसमें तो कंस्ट्रक्शन हो ही नहीं सकती है. तो आशा हम ये रखेंगे NGT से कि NGT will intervene and hear us out very clearly and we'll argue it out, reason it out to say that this is the ecologically sensitive area. हमें बालाजी मंदिर से कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, कहीं भी बनाए इसे, नियमों में जगह की कमी नहीं है. CIRCO can allot land anywhere but away from the ecologically sensitive area.
Right, thank you so much, BNK. Great pleasure talking to you, even though what you have to say is not pleasurable at all. So, but thank you very much. And all the very best to you and more strength to you. And we are always with you. At least our channel is completely with you. Namaskar, Vande Mataram.
We shall keep updating as and when things develop.
Please, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Well, that's just about it as far as the country is concerned and as far as Mumbai is concerned. We, I think, are facing a catastrophe.
Yes, the ecology, it reminds you how critical it is. As I said, when you just look out of our window in Big Sea and the Mithi River, which is supposed to be a river, is there. It is not a river. It is something you can say a dark, non-flowing,
it's a sewer.
Static, stable fluid out there.
It's a sewer. It's not a river anymore. We've turned a beautiful river into a sewer. The idea was to turn the sewer into a river. We've turned it into more of a sewer, carrying more poisonous, toxic stuff than anything else. It's just a dumping ground, that's all. And I still haven't recovered. As you can see, this is for my
Everybody's
viewers.
coughing. In fact, every participant in this debate were coughing.
Everybody.
Right from B.N. Kumar to Rakesh Shetty to many
just
of
about
them.
everybody.
Yes.
Only Mr. Ali Daruwala was from Pune, so I think Pune air is possibly better. Right, do keep sending your responses to the channel. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, लाइक करें, शेयर करें अगर आपका दिल करे तो, और सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर करें. It will help us and I am being very blatant about it. अगर आपको चैनल अच्छा लगता है तो चैनल की मदद करें, सब्सक्राइब करें चैनल को. That's all that you have to do. And we do have some responses that have come. कुछ comments आए हैं. Let's take a look. Please do keep sending in your comments. But don't send in stuff which is obscene.
Though as you see, you always believe in the freedom of speech.
Yes, I am. देखें?
In letter and spirit, guaranteed by the Constitution.
This is for the World Cup. The who knows who. Justice for Sushant Singh Rajput, Dayavati 6614. Right. There is somebody's talking about Sushant Singh Rajput still. And this is, मैं डिप्रेस नहीं हुआ क्योंकि मुझे पता था आएगा और हम हार जाएंगे. Right. That is Rajesh Prasad 4276. Obviously a congressman. जी. आगे चलिए. All right, just two. Okay. Well, do keep sending in your comments and we'll try and read out as many as possible. For that's just about it for tonight's show. आज के शो में सिर्फ इतना ही. प्रदीप जी और मेरी तरफ से आप सब लोगों को नमस्कार. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र, जय भवानी, जय शिवाजी. वंदे मातरम.
Vande Mataram.